Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel. I am a self-published author, which basically means that I write, publish, and market my books by myself. And I'm currently on a journey to, well, not become debt-free, because guys, I am debt-free, but I'm on a journey to become more financially self-sufficient and to save 6 months worth of expenses for my fully saved emergency fund. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So I, in the future, would like to start making twice a month cash stuffing videos, but I also this month wanted to make just an explanation video because I thought about it and I was like, you know, I don't want to have to give the full explanation of the zero-based budget and cash stuffing for every cash stuffing for every single video I ever do. Not because I, you know, resent having to give the speech, but because people who watch the videos, like all of them, are going to get sick of hearing me say it. So I thought, why don't I just sit down, do like a binder tour, explain my envelopes, explain my system. That way people who are new to the process or new to my version of the process have a video where they can go and like find the information rather than having to go, wait, what video did she say it in? So that's what we're going to do today. So in order to do that, I'm first going to pull out my binder. Isn't it pretty? I'm actually making like a actual spiral notebook that has like specific pages in it in here for myself. But at this time, this is what I'm using. And the reason I wanted to do this video while I'm using this notebook is because I want you to understand that you do not need anything fancy. You don't need a fancy A5 size binder or a specific notebook or a specific app or anything. All you need is paper and pencil. That's literally it to create your zero-based budget. I just really want to drive that home for everybody, that's literally all you need. So let's first just go over what my zero-based budget generally looks like. So basically what I end up doing is taking my income. So actually let's just write it on a blank page. I think that would just be easier. So I will take my income and I will literally write it like this. And let's say I have $1,000. Then I will take bills. And usually what I do is I have a separate page where I write out all of my bills, what date they come out and how much they are roughly, so that I can kind of have like an overview total every month rather than having to write them out. But if you want to write them out every month, you can. I include subscriptions in this too, so like Peacock or Netflix or whatever, I also include those in here. Anything that comes out on a monthly basis, I put in bills. So let's say the bills are $500. And then I put variable expenses, which variable expenses are things that are variable. They are not necessarily the same all the time. Mine are still monthly, but they're things that are different amounts. So like money that I set aside for taxes is different every month. My tithes are different every month. The amount that I pay in therapy is different every month depending on how many appointments I have. So like if I do tithes, 10% of 1,000. If you don't know what tithes are, by the way, if you're not a religious person, tithes are just basically giving that you do for your church or ministry in general. It's not specific necessarily just to your church. Like there's been times when I wasn't at a church specifically. I didn't have like a church home that I was going to consistently. And so, because I was still searching. And so I would send my tithing money to a ministry in my area that I really like, where it's a ranch that does a lot of work with kids and just like doing therapy with them and the horses. And it's a religious organization. So it's still doing like God's work, but it was not specifically a church. And so that's where my tithes were going during that time. So tithes is just, it's 10% of your income that you decide. You don't have to do it in order to be a part of a church or anything. But yeah, it is something the Bible asks us to do, is to give 10% of our income, regardless of how small it is, to God. So for this, it would be $100. And let's say taxes, I don't know, we'll just say $100 just to keep this even and nice and simple. And so then what I would do is just take my income minus the 500 minus this 200. This is literally exactly how I write mine out every month. And so 1,000 minus 500 minus 700 is, what is that, 300? So then over here I would write left is $300. So now I have $300 left to budget with. And then what I do is I will go through, I already have my envelopes made. If you don't know what categories you want to use, just think of things that you spend infrequently. So like eating out could be one. Most people have an eating out category. Spending is one that I think everybody should have. It's fun money. You don't have to explain to anybody. It's just for you. Groceries, I put in, I have some people ask me that. Groceries is part of my bills. But if you want to cash stuff for it separately and like actually put money in an envelope, you could do that. I just don't because I just leave it in my account because it's easier. But you could do groceries or entertainment is one that I do. So like going to the movies, things like that. If you have kids, you might have a kid's envelope. Usually a kid's envelope is not necessarily for all of their needs. It's just when you're out with them and you want to say yes to something they ask for, you have an envelope for that. Like I have one for my nephew. There's also holidays. So I have one for every holiday. And then there's also things that you are saving up for. So maybe you want to get a riding lawnmower for your yard or whatever, but you know it's going to cost a lot of money. So you want to start putting money away for it. You could either do an envelope like this, or you could do a savings challenge, which we'll get to later. So let's say I put lawnmower. So then what I do is I play a bit of a game with this $300, trying to figure out how much I can budget into everything. I like to put the amount that I currently have in the envelope. So let's say I have $5 left in eating out, 0 in spending, 10 in groceries, and 50 in lawnmower. I like to put the current amounts because it helps me get a better idea of what I need to put in them. You could do this as you go, do one envelope at a time and go through your budget. But a lot of times what I find is that I end up budgeting more money than I have. So then I have to come back to this number and reevaluate things. So it's just easier to get a bird's eye view of all of my envelopes, how much is in each of them, and then figuring out, okay, how can I do this $300? Usually I do it in pencil, this part, the budgeting, because I know I'm probably going to move stuff around. So let's say I want to put $20 in eating out. I want to put 50 in spending. In groceries, I want to put, I don't know, 100. In lawnmower, I want to put 100. So that means I have 270 budgeted right now, which means I have $30 extra, which is great. That's not usually how things go for me, though. I usually am putting too much in envelopes and have to just gradually take away until I find the right amount. So anyway, that's basically how that would go. If you are somebody who gets paid bi-weekly, versus monthly, or you get paid weekly, I would just do this process every time you get paid. So however often that is for you, I would do this process. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I have a side hustle that I do, and I had an unexpected job come up for that side hustle, and I got $300 extra. Or not extra, but I got paid $300 that I wasn't planning on getting. And so normally what I would have done is that money just kind of would have gone into the bank and I basically would have just spent it all. But this time what I did is I did this, I budgeted it. Since I had already budgeted for my bills for the month because I had done that in my monthly budget, that part was done, but I still went to my categories. I wrote down my categories. I figured out, okay, where can I put this $300? What makes sense? So that's my advice is every time you get paid, budget it. However much you get paid, however frequently you get paid. If you don't know until you get your paycheck how much you're getting, try and estimate when you look back at previous months and previous weeks, what's like the low average and budget for that idea, just to cover your bills, I mean. And I wouldn't worry about cash stuffing until you actually have money in the bank and then cash stuff. So I hope that kind of makes it clear. Basically, just remember this, take your income, subtract your bills and variable expenses. Whatever is left over is what you cash stuff. Then you can go to your categories and determine where you want everything to go. If you get paid kind of irregularly, you're going to have to kind of be flexible with it. But I would still advise you always cash stuff any money you get, even unexpected money, birthday money, tax refunds, whatever it is, budget it. Otherwise, it'll be gone like that if you're anything like me. So that's how that works. As far as other things like debt, so I keep track of debt separately. So when I do my bills and variable expenses, it depends on how you want to do it. I have an envelope for my debt so that I don't forget to budget for it. If you have like a monthly minimum, you might put it in your bills, but if you want to put extra towards your debt, you might make it a category, even though it's not technically an envelope you're putting cash into, just to remind yourself to stuff for it, which is what I have done. And then I have a separate page where I just track my debt. So I put the date and how much is left. It's that simple. That way I know how much do I have left on it. And then, you know, the monthly minimum would be a part of my bills. And then whatever extra I'm going to pay towards it, I'd put in my categories just to make sure my math is correct so I can actually see it. And that's how I pay down my debt. As far as tithes, I keep track of my tithes the same way. So I will do the same thing. It says tithes tracker, it has the date, and then it has how much I am putting towards tithes. And then I also have a check mark spot where I will check it off once I have actually paid the tithes, because there have been months where I forgot to pay. So that way I'm keeping track of it. And then I also have savings. So basically I have two savings accounts. I have an emergency fund and then a regular savings account that houses everything else. It's in a high yield savings account. So if you don't know what that is, a high yield savings account is a savings account that earns interest. I think mine earns like 4 point something interest. So it's not insane, but it's still something, rather than a regular savings account where your money just sits there. It doesn't earn anything, which is fine. But if you can put it in where you're earning interest, it is convenient and a lot nicer. So I have two savings accounts. I have one for emergency fund and one for everything else. So in my emergency fund, that's separate money. I don't touch that ever, period, at all. That is where I'm putting my 6 months worth of expenses. The reason I'm saving 6 months worth of, that is a tongue twister, 6 months worth of expenses is because I'm currently working on Dave Ramsey's baby steps. So a lot of what I do is influenced by Dave Ramsey, who is, if you don't know, he's very well known in the budgeting community. He has a lot of books and programs that you can do. I highly recommend all of them. They're actually really affordable. And so one of the things is to first save up $1,000 emergency fund, which I did, pay off debt, which I did, which we'll talk about that next cash stuffing, and then save up 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. But because I'm self-employed, he recommends 6 months. And so I am slowly chipping away at saving up 6 months worth of expenses, which I will need roughly $17,000. So that's what my one savings account is for. The other one houses my tax money, my Christmas fund, and anything else I decide to put in there, which basically what I put in there is money that I don't plan to touch anytime soon, like not within like a couple of months and up until like right now, because Christmas is coming. But before that, Christmas was so far away that I just put it in here. And so this is where I put money for categories that I don't plan on spending anytime soon, but it's nice for the money to be earning interest. And so that's where I track my savings accounts. And I just put the date and the current total so that I can keep track of how much is in everything and know what I'm doing. Then I also have a page for my yearly bills. So my yearly subscriptions, I do very much the same. I track how much it's going to cost me, what date they come out. So this is stuff that gets paid annually, and then what it is and the total. This way I can plan, because I have an envelope for my yearly subscriptions, to keep track and make sure that I'm saving enough money to pay them when they come time to be paid. And the only other thing is savings challenges. So savings challenges, which we will talk about here in a minute, are categories. So like, for instance, pets. I want to save all of these things for my pets. So I could just have an envelope where I stuff money into it every week or every month, or I could do a savings challenge that helps me break it down into pieces. And so I would have a savings challenge for each of the categories. So like food, toys, treats, emergency, all the things. And so this page, I just wrote down all of the categories that I would want to save for and how much ideally I would want in each one. I also tend to do this for my envelopes. Just keep a list of ideal amounts that I want to save for. I don't do it for envelopes like eating out, things that I spend every week, but things like holidays or for a lawnmower, for instance, things like that. I like to keep a list of the ideal totals that I want, or the goal numbers, so that I know what I'm working toward and how far away I am from it. So I think that's pretty much everything for this. So let's go ahead and get into my envelopes and we will discuss things as we go. And yes, this is one of those window breakers for your car, because if I'm ever in somebody else's car, I want to have one on hand. So I figure I'll have my wallet with me so that way I can use this to break the window if we're in an accident. I like to be prepared, okay? Okay, so first things first. My gosh, everybody and their mother's texting me right now. Okay, so first things first, business expenses. This is a new one for me, but this is just stuff that I spend money on for my business. So printer paper, pens, all the kind of like miscellaneous types of things that I pay for my business. Eating out obviously is eating out, but this one also for me covers like unplanned food purchases. So like groceries is different. This is like I'm at the gas station and I really want a bag of Cheetos, that kind of thing. Or if I want to DoorDash something, it covers kind of both of those categories for me. Entertainment is, like I said, it's for like going to the movies, if we go to the zoo, kind of like an activity type of thing that doesn't really fall into another category. Oh, I do have a groceries envelope. For some reason, I thought I didn't. I don't know why I have one, because I kind of feel like eating out covers that, but I have a groceries envelope, and that's what I would use this for, is unplanned grocery type expenses versus my actual grocery budget. Kindness is just random acts of kindness. So you want to pay ahead when you get your coffee, you want to leave a larger tip. This is not my entire giving for the month. Like I said, I pay tithes. I have other things I give for, like donations that I make monthly to different places. And I don't say that for like a pat on the back. I just say that for people who are curious on like how they want to start giving. I like to have this for just like generosity. Ideally, I'd love to stuff more in this and actually give gifts to people. Like pick a person every month and give them a gift. I feel like that would, because I love gifts. That's my favorite thing. So that would make me really happy. But I also do like actually have charities or things that I give to otherwise on a monthly basis. I just say that to give people an idea of ways that you could also give and to let you know that I am giving. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not, because I want to be like a quote unquote example. Is that what I mean to say? I don't know if that sounds right, but you get what I'm saying. Miscellaneous is for unplanned purchases. So things that I didn't plan on, things that I didn't budget for, kind of random stuff. Spending is, why do I have money in here? Oh, I didn't take it out yet. That has to go back to the bank. I bought gel polish. I bought like a pack of gel polish that was like fall colors, and one of the colors was like this like purple gray, but it also has like a champagne color, different ones. It also has like a showgirl orange. So if you are a Taylor Swift fan, you are aware she's coming out with a new album on October 3rd. Oh, I'm so excited. And the color scheme of the album is orange, like a glittery kind of reddish orange. And one of the colors in the kit is that color. And so I'm going to do my nails that color for release day. Because I'm extra and I want to. So that money came out of spending because I don't have to explain it to anybody. That's what this envelope is for. Self-care is for when I get my hair cut. So I just stuff in here regularly until it's time to get my hair cut again. Toiletries is for beauty products. Could be makeup, could be shampoo, anything that I use to take care of myself. And then I also have one back here for my nephew behind this one. I don't think they want me to show his name, so I'm not going to. But I have one back here for him. It's not like an envelope where that's everything I've ever budgeted for him. It's more of a when he asks for things when we're out together, or I want to buy him something random, I have money for it. So that's my wallet. Then we have sinking funds. So some people you will see having short-term sinking funds, long-term sinking funds, or high priority and low priority sinking funds. Sinking funds are basically just categories that you're gradually saving up money in to pay for something or to buy something. Sinking funds that you're going to spend in regularly, like weekly, daily, whatever, they're still sinking funds, but they're not like true sinking funds because you're not gradually saving for a specific goal. You're just kind of filtering through to make sure that money is getting spent where it should every week, if that makes sense. And again, you don't need binders for this. You don't have to have these kind of envelopes. You can just use paper envelopes. I've done that. It works. It's totally fine. You don't have to do anything fancy. And you can also, like, my favorite place to get binders and stuff is from the Aesthetic Dollar. Actually, I'm going to lower you guys just a little bit. There, that way you can see a little bit more. But my favorite place to get binders and stuff is from the Aesthetic Dollar. but you don't have to. Like, her stuff is amazing quality, but if you need something that's just affordable right now, she actually has some affordable binders back in stock, which I love. But if you want something even more affordable, you can find some stuff on Amazon. It's not as nice, but it'll do. Like, it doesn't need to be fancy. And if I make my envelopes myself, but there are lots of places you can get them, like on Etsy and stuff. But there are also tutorials on YouTube on how to make cash envelopes, which they're all fantastic and really helpful. And like, it's really not that expensive. All you need is vellum and laminating paper. That's pretty much it, and a printer. So it'll take some tries for you to get the hang of it, but I encourage you, if you want to make them yourself, because it is cheaper than buying them. So anyways, so a lot of these envelopes are duplicates of what I have in my wallet. And that's because the goal is to have money in here that builds over time versus the money in my wallet gets spent on a regular basis. So the goal is that business expenses will have, you know, like $100, but I only keep 20 in my wallet because it's all I'm going to need while I'm on the go. Or like eating out in here will have $80, but I only keep 20 in my wallet because that's all I need, if that makes sense. So it's a lot of these are the same envelopes: business expenses, eating out, entertainment, groceries, kindness, miscellaneous, self-care, spending, toiletries. And there are other envelopes I would like to put in here, both short-term and long-term type of things that I would love to put in here. Like, I'd love to have one for home specifically, and like home decor, or long-term ones that I'd love to save for different projects that I want to do. I would love to have more envelopes and more things going on, but because I'm on such a small budget, it doesn't make sense to have, you know, 100 different envelopes that I'm trying to save in when I only have a small amount of money to put in those envelopes. It makes more sense to kind of attack categories with everything I have, like attack fewer categories with everything I have, so that they can actually be fully funded or paid off or whatever it is, so that I can build that and then gradually add in more envelopes, than to try and have some money and kind of just be trying to throw a little bit here and there and here and there and not really getting anywhere. I don't know if that makes sense. That's kind of where I'm at with this. So my envelopes are a lot simpler than they used to be, or at least my system is. I have less categories than I used to, just because I'm really trying hard to save up 6 months worth of expenses. And I'm trying to have a lot of like gazelle intensity, which is what Dave Ramsey calls it. I'm really trying to have that towards this baby step so that I can actually accomplish it in a like decent amount of time rather than in 30 years. So, but do what works for you and your situation. You might have to play with this quite a bit before you really get it down. And for me, it's always changing. It depends on the season I'm in, the financial state I'm in, the things that are going on, the things that are coming up that I have to spend for. It just varies. So anyways, and then these last two are long-term sinking funds. So these front ones are short-term. I spend them, you know, almost weekly. These last two get spent every like 6 months, maybe once a year. Like, they're not consistent. So that's why they sit here, because they're not all the time. So this first one is book covers. So book covers is, obviously I'm an author, and so I have to pay somebody to make my book covers for me. I don't design them myself. And so this is for money for me to pay for someone to do my book covers. And inside, I'm trying to like cover up my nephew's name. Okay, I need to ask them if I'm allowed to say his name or not. I don't want to and then get in trouble. So this is just, it's kind of like a savings challenge, but I'm just using it to track how much I need versus how much I have. So with book covers, I need about $290 to save for a book cover, including tip. And so what I will do is I'll put the total at the bottom, $290. And then I can't remember how many this is. I think it might be 50. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 45. So then I would divide 290 by 45, and whatever that is, 290 divided by 45 is 6.4. So I'd probably just round up to 10 and make this worth 10, which means that by the time I got done, it would be 450, which I obviously don't need. So I would have to stop like halfway through when I got done. But it helps to have something that tells you how much to save. Like, I need to save a minimum of $10 every week or every month, because that's how much a bubble is. And it helps me to like visually see how far I am versus how much more I need to go. And it just helps keep me on track and to be able to see the total that I actually need. It's just kind of nice to have this for accountability. So that's why this is in this envelope. So that's what we do with book covers. And then the other one that I have in here is editor. So same thing, I pay for an editor, and so that's something I'm saving for, so I also have one in here. And then I have this in here. So this is a placeholder. Again, I make these myself. You can make them at home, guys. They have tutorials on YouTube to make these, but you also can buy them again from the Aesthetic Dollar and other places, or you can just put in a sticky note. It doesn't have to be fancy. But this is, let me show you, in conjunction with my cash binder. So this is my cash binder. This is the cheaper binder from the Aesthetic Dollar. So these I think are only 20 bucks. So they're a lot cheaper, but they're really nice. I love them so much. So anyways, so this is my cash binder. So in here, I keep a list of the different categories that have cash in here. So what I do is with envelopes like this, I try and just have like a couple because I like to have cash. Let me explain this. The reason I do this is because I like to have cash on hand. If I need to make change for myself, if I want to condense an envelope, like I've got 27 bills in an envelope and I want to change it out for a $100 bill because I don't need this many bills in here, it's too much. I can come here, flip to the hundreds, take a $100 bill out and exchange it for the 20s so that the same amount of money is always in here, but I'm exchanging bills where it's convenient for me. So I like to have this on hand for that purpose. And like I said, if I need to make change or anything like that, it just makes sense for me. The money in here is from envelopes like this. I only use a couple because like I said earlier, I like to put larger amounts of money into my savings account whenever possible because it helps me earn more interest. But I will choose like just a couple of select categories to put the money in here instead so that I have cash on hand. So I have two separate kinds, and I keep them in my bag here from the Aesthetic Dollar. I have two separate kinds of placeholders. So I have this one, and this one tells me that there's $200 put towards my editor, but it's in my cash binder. Versus I have this one that says in the bank. So this means I have $100 in this envelope, like towards this category, but the money is in the bank so that I know where that like actual cash is at this time. I hope that makes sense. So that's what placeholders are. That's what they're for. That's how I personally use them. And again, if you want to put money in the bank as you're saving, you could just put a sticky note in here that says $200 in the bank. And that would be totally fine. You don't have to make it fancy. You can if you want to. The reason I do make it like fancy or cute is because making the system look aesthetically appealing makes me more likely to continue using it because it's enjoyable to do. So in this binder, I have just these little zipper envelopes that have a denomination in them. So my $1 are in here, my $5 bills, 10, 20, 50s I don't have any right now, and hundreds. And so that's how I separate them. I had it in a bigger binder, but it was just ridiculously large for no particular reason. So this makes more sense for me. So that's what this is. That's what placeholders are. And that's how I personally use them. So I'll put that back in editor. We're almost done saving for my editor actually. And then I can start saving for the next time I need her. So that is how I personally use my sinking funds. And I'm sure I'll make another one of these videos in like 6 months or a year, whatever, when I've updated my envelopes. But the general overall system doesn't really change. So next is holidays. So, I took this out of here, my dad's envelope, because he still had not spent the money, and so we went to an Oktoberfest and he wanted to buy some sausage and he was going to go buy it, and so I took the money out and I just shoved it at him. I was like, use this, because he would not tell me what he wanted and he wouldn't buy anything with it. So I was like, use this. So he did, and he bought like a billion things of sausage, whatever makes him happy. So in holidays, I keep both birthdays and holidays in here just to keep all like the gift giving in one place. So I have an envelope from my mom. This is birthday gifts from my dad. And then I have one for just birthdays. So this is all of my other family birthdays, all of my other friend birthdays. They all come from this one envelope rather than having one for each. I had one for each before, but like I said, when you have a smaller budget, you have to work with that smaller budget and not against it. So it just makes sense for me to kind of combine where possible, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is, and you got to make it work. Gifts is for things that don't fall into a holiday or a birthday, like a graduation or an anniversary or a wedding or something. Valentine's Day is obviously Valentine's Day for little treats for like my family or my nephew or even myself or my friends, stuff like that. Like I might want to get somebody a card or candy or whatever. Easter is basically buying Easter gifts for my nephew. It's not really for me as much as it used to be or for like my family. It might be for like food for dinner sometimes, but mostly it's for my nephew. Mother's Day gifts. Father's Day is obviously Father's Day gifts. 4th of July, this one's more for like if I want to buy any 4th of July outfits, like specific like American flag type of outfits to wear to 4th of July. Like we go to a rodeo every year, or like buy food at the rodeo, or if we do like a celebration of some kind, like a barbecue or whatever, stuff like that will come out of here. Also probably decorations for Halloween. If I get some more decorations this year, they would come from here. And then Halloween is both for candy, decorations, and for costumes. Thanksgiving is more so, not as much decorations, because that usually comes out of Halloween, because it's kind of like fall overall. But Thanksgiving is more for food, pretty much. Black Friday is to buy anything that's on sale during Black Friday, anything for Christmas or whatever. Christmas, this is not for gifts. This is just for activities, food, decor, clothing, anything like that. That's kind of like miscellaneous, but comes out of here because it was for the Christmas season. And then New Year's is if we do anything for New Year's, which we don't normally. So that's holiday sinking funds. And these ones, the idea, my preference would be to save for each one on a weekly basis. So like 4 times a month. But right now, with my income being smaller, it's not the way things work. So I just have to prioritize which holidays are most important to me and kind of leave the rest sitting there for the moment. And that's okay, because that's just how life goes, guys. Then we have savings challenges. Oh no, Taylor. There. Goodness. It's all messed up. Okay, so savings challenges are, let's explain them. Savings challenges are very similar to what I showed you in the book cover and the editor. It's for a category. You will have an ideal total you want to save. You will have the bubbles that you determine how much you want them to be worth, and you will fill them in and gradually save. This one's a little bit different. This one was to pay off my debt, but now that my debt is paid off, it's for savings for my 6-month, my emergency fund. We're just going to say that because I can't keep saying this tongue twister. So basically this one is each bubble has an amount, and then in total it adds up to $500. The reason I have a total down here is in case I stuff extra money in here and the total ends up being more than $500, I want to write down how much I actually saved. So I usually will pick 4 a month, so 1 for each week. And the reason I like this is because sometimes you don't have a lot, so you can choose 4 5s. But some months you have a little bit more and you're like, no, I can stretch. So you can do like 2 15s and 2 10s. So you can kind of pick and choose based on where you are financially at the time. So the goal for this, for me, is to save toward my emergency fund. And then I also have a $1,000 one that I want to do next to start saving even more towards my emergency fund. Because the goal right now is to throw as much money as I can at it, which is hard because a lot of things happen where you need things, but then a lot of things happen where you want things, where you're like, well, but I want to go to this thing, and well, I don't really like wearing this type of foundation anymore. I should buy a new one, but it's $30, and that $30 could go towards my emergency fund, and $30 does not sound like a lot. But when you're on a small budget, that's kind of what you often have to give. And if you give it consistently and as often as you can, it does add up, guys. It really does. Okay, and then we have Christmas. So this is the same thing. This adds up to $500, and this is for Christmas gifts. So I started this right after Christmas last year, I think, so that I could start saving for gift giving this year. So this is to save $500 toward gift giving. And yeah, this next year I might up it. I don't know if I'll up it to 1K. Maybe I'll do a 1K savings challenge and just do like half, or not half, but like 3/4. So like save like $800 or something, just because between gifts from my family, gifts from my friends, and then just like generosity in general, being able to like just give things to people or donate to things a little bit more frequently would be nice, specifically during the holidays. So I might save more in this next year. The medical is the same thing. This is just, I mean, I have pretty good insurance, but this is just for things that medical doesn't cover, or unexpected costs that I don't anticipate having. Pets, this is, so I had all of these savings challenges from the Aesthetic Dollar, but I hate saying that, from the Aesthetic Dollar. It feels weird. I'm like, it's from Emily, guys. But all of these, and I have all the totals written on them to save for, but because my finances are what they are right now, this is just not realistic for me to save for. And so I am not currently actually doing all the proper savings challenges because I just can't afford to save for them. What I might do is in the future start saving, like, actually I might do that right now. We're here. We might as well, right? So that's in the thousands. Okay, that one's just 15. 'Cause I'm just thinking, I'm like, you know what I should do is just do one at a time. So like just pick one, do one at a time, put one of these in my savings challenge. The reason food is so expensive is because I want to do that farmer's dog one, but it's crazy expensive, guys. Goodness. So like I could just put treats in here and start saving for treats. And then once that one's done, I could take this out, put the money in the bank, honestly, in the savings account, and then start the next one. So bedding is next. And then gradually over time, fill them all up. So I think I will do that. First, right now, I'm saving up for Daisy to get a medical test. So I will just continue saving for that right now. But that's why I have this like card in here, is because that's what this is for, is pets. But I could start doing the treats after I save for the medical test that she needs, so that I could just gradually one by one do them. So there's no right or wrong way to do savings challenges. Sorry about the dog. Daisy. There's no right or wrong way to do savings challenges. You just have to do whatever works for you and your budget, honestly. So then sibling trip, this is for me when I go visit my brother and sister-in-law and my nephew. And so ideally I want to save this much. Well, I want to save more than that, honestly, but ideally I want to save at least that much. But this time around I didn't start saving far enough in advance, so I'm going to start this one again once this, because I'm going to visit them very, very soon. So once I come back from that trip, I will start saving again for next year. Yearly subscriptions, this is, like I said, it's for the yearly things that come out. So like my Microsoft account comes out once a year, things like that. I'm saving up for them gradually so that I can pay them off. And then this note is because I have 2 check marks too many. So I just wrote that for myself to know for my next cash stuffing. And then this one is for the Advent box from the Aesthetic Dollar. So she does an Advent box every year. If you don't know what that is, Advent is Christmas. And the Advent box, a lot of companies do them, but it's where you get a box of gifts and there's 12 of them for the 12 days of Christmas. So on each day leading up to Christmas, you will open one of the gifts, and they're usually numbered. And her box is like legendary and amazing, and I've been wanting to do it, and so I'm saving up to buy one for myself this year. Concert is for a Taylor Swift concert. I'm probably not going to be able to go the next time she has a concert because it's just not feasible, which kills me, which is why there's no money in here, because it's so low on the totem pole of like importance, but it's there, giving me hope for someday. So that's it for these savings challenges. And then last but not least, we have my travel savings challenge. So a couple of girls and I really want to go to Covington, Georgia, which is where they filmed The Vampire Diaries and the originals and Legacies, which I'm a huge fan. And I've been before, but I only went for like a day. I want to go for like a full trip. And so we're saving up, each of us, to be able to go on this trip together to like do the whole thing, the tour, all of it. And so I have a savings challenge that has all of the little savings card things to start saving up. So like lodging is the one that I'm saving for right now. But this binder I'm not currently saving for. I'm going to save for this binder probably November, December. I'm taking a couple months off just to make sure that I really put everything I can towards the categories that desperately need it. And then once those are saved for, I will start on this again. But that's what this is for. So I have lodging for Airbnb. And since we're splitting it between us, it's not as expensive, which is nice. Plane ticket, emergency, just in case random things come up. Activities. So this would include like the tour, anything else like that we want to do over there. And then I ran out of savings challenge or blank envelopes. And so I started using old envelopes because I need to buy some more of the PVC envelopes. But you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Souvenirs, food, miscellaneous, luggage, which I don't even know if I'm gonna save for that, if I'm just gonna include that in my ticket. And then transportation, I already did. Like this one's done because it was $15 because it's just gas. Because we're not doing a rental car because one of the girls is gonna drive. So I can do this. There we go. So I hope that that kind of answered any questions you might have about how I budget or what my categories are for. If you have further questions, please put them in the comments below because I will probably do another one of these videos in like 6 months or a year. So it'd be nice to know what I missed that you guys want to know. And I'm sure your system might be different than mine. You might know somebody who has a similar system, but it's slightly different. That's okay. The point of this system is that you're giving, everybody says this, you're giving every dollar a job. So every dollar is planned to go somewhere rather than just sitting there in a lump sum. Like a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll do the whole income minus their expenses thing, but then the money that's left over, like that $300 that we budgeted, they'll just have that money in the bank. And then it's just sitting there and then it just gets spent places. And some people will track where their money goes, but they're not telling their money where to go, which is what I used to do. And the reason that telling your money where to go is so important is because it's not just, really for me, it's not so much about the money in the envelopes that I spend weekly, like the eating out, the groceries, the spending. That is not as big of a deal to me. It's the things that add up over time. Holidays, long-term sinking funds like, oh gosh, my knees are killing me. Long-term sinking funds like the book cover, or if you were saving for a lawnmower, or if you're saving for whatever it is, or like pets, things that cost unexpectedly, or emergency funds. That's where you really, really, really see the results, is when you allocate money for like your weekly type of purchases, knowing that whatever's in there is what you can spend. And once it's gone, it's gone. And that the money that's allocated for things that are more long-term, they're building, and you actually get to see that progress. Like, guys, I was thinking about it, I think it was like yesterday I was thinking about it, how even like a year and a half ago, I was cash stuffing, but I wasn't truly budgeting. And there's so much money that I think about, and I'm like, where did it go? I have no idea. It went out into the ether, I guess, because I don't have it anymore. And it's sad to think about how much money went out of my hands to things that I didn't need or really even want that much, or things I don't even remember, and all the places that it could have gone, the savings I could have had, the things I could have given, but I can't now because it's all gone. Like, that makes me sad, but it also makes me really, really proud to know that that's so foreign to me now. Like, it's cool to look back and realize that that concept is so alien to me because I don't do it anymore. And I don't say that like I'm perfect. I still spend money I don't have, guys. Like last night, I spent money I don't have. And that money's going to have to come out of my budget at the beginning of October because I don't have that money. And I did that knowing that, and I do that sometimes. So like, I still do things I shouldn't. I still buy things I regret. I still don't save money that I should have. So it's not like the system is an instant fix that's going to make you perfect. But I have opportunities now, and I have awareness now that I didn't have before. And I really want to like hammer it home to you guys that budgeting is for you. It's not for somebody else in a different situation. It's not for somebody who has less money than you or who has more money than you or who's a different place in life than you. Budgeting is for you. It's for you. It's for me. It's for everybody. And so I just really want to hammer that home that I don't want you to limit yourself based on where you are and thinking that, oh, well, I'm not ready, or I don't have enough money, or I have too much money. I don't need to do that, or whatever. I hear so many excuses all the time from my family and friends, and I'm like, guys, just do it. It's so helpful. Like, anyway, I hope that this didn't sound like pompous at all or anything. I just really want everyone to find the peace of mind, and like, I hesitate to use the word control because control can be kind of a negative word, but yeah, control over yourself and your finances. I just want everybody to know that. So anyways, okay, I'm going to shut up now. I hope this video was helpful. I hope that it answered some questions and clarified some things, maybe gave you some ideas. Once again, please leave any questions or any ideas. What do you do differently? I'm curious to know. I'm always curious to change my system up and make it work better for me. And anyways, if you guys are still here, you're awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and all the things, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.